And welcome to Pass the Aux. I'm your host, Gavin the Chef Cook, co-host.
Kelly Cole.
With us today,
Zach Gerchak.
What's happening, people?
Kind of crazy, not much.
I'm chilling.
So we have a big episode planned. First episode back.
Season 6.
Season 6. As we start every episode, what have you been listening to lately? Anything fresh? Anything cool, man?
You first, Zach.
I mean, a lot of the stuff that's on my list for sure in this episode. A lot of them might be Giants, which that's kind of just the standard. Who would have thought?
That's Zach's thing.
Who would have thought? I've been listening to more Doom than usual recently.
Okay, yeah.
But what about you, Gavin?
I've been listening to a lot of Tribe Called Quest lately. I don't know why. Just been in a 90s rap mood.
Mm-hmm.
I just got Pinata by Freddie Gibbs and Madlib on vinyl. So I've been listening to that even just through my phone because it's a great album.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it, honestly. I went and re-listened to a couple of the albums on my list that we're talking about today.
That's fair.
Just because while doing it, I was like, man, that was a good album. I should go re-listen to it. What about you, Callie?
You're actually going to be surprised. Finally, for once, I've switched it up just a little bit.
Oh, no.
I was actually listening to a bunch of, Beastie Boys recently.
Okay.
Yeah. It's something different.
I really didn't expect you to say Beastie Boys.
I know. Not Boy With You,
Lizzo
not
reference.
Young Gravy.
I was talking about that earlier.
You were?
We were just talking about the Beastie Boys earlier, too. That's funny.
Well, I wasn't here during that.
Because it has,
That's
correlation to one of the picks on his list. And we were just talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
But speaking of lists, that's what we're doing today. And that is our top 5 of 2022.
Top 5 albums.
Yeah, top 5 albums. We're going to do albums, and then we're not going to spend too much time on it, but we're going to discuss some honorable mentions.
Mm-hmm.
And then just kind of chit-chat about music in general and whatnot after we're done with the lists. It's just stuff to look forward to in 2023, stuff like that.
Absolutely.
But do you want to start with your list? Or
so how do we want to do? We all want to go through our 5th choice, then do our 4th choice, then do our 3rd. I mean that makes a little more sense, and then we can repeat our list at the end, all put together.
Yeah, we could do that. You want to do it that way?
I figured we were gonna do it like how we did on Shut-ins last night. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then we just restate the list.
We can do that. You want to start?
Yeah. Sure. So I'm sure you're gonna be surprised with this one. At my 5th choice would be "Serotonin Dreams" by Boy With You.
Okay.
I mean, now do I think it's okay? As we were talking about this earlier. Is Jordan already being mean?
No, I was just looking at what he said. Everyone say hi to Jordan.
Hi, Jordan.
Hi, Jordan.
He's our most always tuned in.
He's our biggest fan.
Biggest fan. Get him a pass the aux.
He's a real
t-shirt.
ox head.
No.
Yeah, that's our fans.
That's scary.
He's a real ox
That's
head.
phenomenal.
Or a
That sounds
passy.
like an insult.
No,
he's an ox head.
I like the ox head.
Ox
That's
head.
cool. Okay.
All right.
Jordan, you're our number 1 ox head. I'd say Serotonin Dreams was probably my second most listened to album. I could identify every single song on that album from the first couple seconds of the song.
Yeah.
But quality wise, do I think it's the best of all 2022? Probably not. Is it one of my favorites? Yes. But that's why I was having such a hard time making this
what
list.
do you like about it though? Tell me a little bit about that.
Oh, it was just so catchy. And I saw him in concert this summer.
Yeah.
And it was kind of how I got into him because he toured with AJR. And I don't know. I just like the... Wow. I don't want to do this.
I'm just kidding. No. Okay, so keep going.
No, but I don't know. I just liked him. No, it's Jordan.
He said, "I'm just here being out of pocket per the usual."
Okay.
No, I get that though, because seeing an
lot.
artist live can really have a big impact on how
Yeah.
you view that artist.
Well,
when I went and saw Kyle and Hoodie Allen live,
yeah.
Bryce Vine was opening, and this is when he was unknown. He
Okay.
wasn't MTV, he didn't have Drew Barrymore, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that made me a fan, even though his newer stuff isn't near as good as I thought it would be based on how I thought he'd go. I still listen to it whenever he drops though, because seeing him live, I know he's a genuine person, you know? So seeing Boy With You live.
Yeah. Well, he had stories to go with half of these songs that he wrote
Exactly.
and stuff like that, and it just makes you like it a lot.
When
more.
you have a bigger appeal to your audience, it can make your fan base grow significantly just by being yourself.
Well, he kind of released a bunch of albums all within the span of a year and a half, 3 different ones.
Yeah.
And then randomly got a Blackbear feature, so that
Yeah.
also helps.
That's amazing too.
Oh, yeah.
Like out of nowhere. I remember seeing that and I was like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Who is this?
And then Oliver Tree out of nowhere too.
Oh yeah, that song's so good. Not on this album, but so good.
Yeah.
That video was actually, the music video for that was almost taken off YouTube for being too violent. It's a love song.
Whack.
Yeah.
We like violence around here, YouTube.
Honestly.
We love it.
Zachary?
So my turn. All right. My fifth, I was a little surprised because I was like, going through albums I listened to this year. So Decide by Dijo, which are you aware of who that is?
I know who it is. I've never heard the album though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I was surprised because the last Stranger Things album I listened to, I really didn't like. Maya Hawke's music, not really a huge fan of it.
Yeah.
Not bad, not really my thing. So I went into it not really expecting much. I mean, overall, it's just a good, like, beeps and boops kind of album. They're kind of like, I don't know, the lyrics just kind of hit me hard. And it's not really the kind of music I normally listen to, but I don't know. I recommend giving it a shot.
Yeah, I mean, I had heard, like, a few of their songs. I never listened to the new album, though. And that's kind of the same mindset I went into it. I was just like, My Hawk's not bad.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'll definitely have to check that album out for sure, though, because honestly, I forgot that they dropped an album.
Yeah,
That's
me
crazy.
Too. Me too.
But, like,
back over to it.
I love that she's talented. Give her that, you know.
I'm gonna be
Nepotism.
honest, haven't listened to it. Don't
Really?
know. No.
Nepotism is for the win.
Oh, that's a line. It's a sentence.
It is. Nepotism babies are in right now.
Oh, okay. And for your fifth choice,
I chose Dirtiest, Nastiest Suicide by Suicide Boys and Germ. It's the third album in their Dirty, Nasty Suicide trilogy. And let me tell you something. I've loved the Suicide Boys since I found out who they are. They make great music. Never have they ever made an album that's in my top 5, though. Just given... Because they're just, like, really raw and used to, like, their content was, like, very bare bones down to the same thing, just different topics. And so, like, a lot of their music had very similar styles. They didn't really go out of their comfort zone often. But lately, one of the members of Suicide Boys, Scrim, he's their producer. And lately he's been trying new things. And so the production on this album is just out of this world. Like, the only reason it's my fifth pick is just because, like, their lyrics are pretty normal Suicide Boys type songs.
not out of the comfort
and, like,
zone.
they're great, but, like, they're not doing anything that's, like, blowing me away with, like, quality of lyrics. But, like, the production alone was just insane. Like, there's one song that sounds like Playboi Carti could be on it. And then there's another song that feels like some, like, boom bappy rap stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's just another song where I don't even know what the sound is, but it's just, like, enchanting. Like, you hear it and you're just like, whoa. Like, it was just phenomenal production all the way through. And then Germ, he's always a great feature with them too. So whenever they make a project together, I can expect some type of memorableness from it.
Right. Yeah. I agree. I don't know. For me, that's such a big thing too. Production on an album is what makes
like,
it.
I could listen to this album, just the production, over and over again and never get bored, just because, like, you hear different sounds all the time and you get and, like, you're not used to anything. Even on your fifth listen, you'll be like, what was that?
Big headphone type albums, like stuff like that. Yeah.
Let's go into our fourth pick.
All right. I also think you're gonna be surprised by this one. Come Home, the Kids Miss You by Jack Harlow. It's actually my fourth album.
Okay.
I listened to that one, like, a lot more than I thought I did when I was, like, also going through and looking at what I listened to the most. And I was just like, I did like more songs on that than just First Class and Dua Lipa. So, because that's, like, I don't know. I feel like it's really weird. From a lot of my picks, they all came out over the summer. Like, I swear. Like, May to, like, July.
This year alone was a big year for music.
Yeah.
But the summer itself, too, was just crazy. I mean, we had Kendrick just topping off the summer by being, like, the first big drop of the summer. And then, you know, you had Jack Harlow coming, like, 2 weeks later. We had a 2 Chainz album in there somewhere too. Like, it was just big. Like, everyone was dropping. Well, almost everybody. I'm talking to you, Frank. Almost everybody was dropping, but, like, this summer alone is just crazy.
I thought it was, I don't know, I really liked this album, and I like some of the random songs on there. Like, I really like the one with Lil Wayne and stuff, like, as usual. But I don't know, stuff like that.
Yeah, I'd Do Anything to See You Smile is just such a bop too. Like, that song is just, I had no idea what it was gonna be, because you hear, like, a chorus and you're like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And then you just hear boom, boom, and I was just like, what the.
I just thought
I
thought he had a lot of fun with this album. That's part of the reason I like it. Another, like, I'd say this one's actually less production heavy than I'd like it, but, like, still a good headphone album.
Yeah, the title was him having fun with it. Like, he literally named this album just what people were, like, what these girls were commenting under his Instagram posts.
Yeah.
And he was just like, that's an album title.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I feel like my picks for 2022 and, like, my album stuff that I go through is definitely more, like, lighthearted, less, like, deeper ones this year. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Your number 4?
Yeah, my number 4, Special, Lizzo's album.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which that's kind of like, I feel like, Lizzo, everyone loves Lizzo. Yeah. She's a great lady. We all love her. Her music, all like overall jams. Yeah. About Damn Time. You hear it a lot on the radio, and I'm still not tired of it, which kind of like speaks to it, because I get tired of music kind of quickly. Yeah. Unless it's an artist I'm like, I just love. Mm-hmm. Also, the album, speaking of Beastie Boys, her song Girls, spelled Grrrls, samples Girls by Beastie Boys, and I was like, that was automatically, like, if it wasn't on my list, that was going to put it at least 5th on my list.
Really?
Beastie Boys, I
love the Beastie Boys.
Super duper Kyle did it first.
That is true.
Sorry. You interrupted me. That was rude, Gavin. But I don't know. I just like the album. It's also like the rest of my picks are more in line with like what my normal genre of music is. But I don't know. Lizzo just has a soft spot in my heart.
Yeah, Lizzo's literally like, she's like your expected to like do well like commercially, like radio and stuff. But like,
she's actually good.
I've seen a lot of people talking about like their favorite albums, and like she has been like a wild card pick. Yeah. And I agree. Like, I think the album's great. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not in my top 5, but I thought she did really well. I liked it a lot better than her last one.
Oh yeah.
And so this one was like, I agree. Like, it's great, and I love her production styles too. Oh yeah. Because like she can have her super serious songs, yet the production is still just bouncy enough to keep you in it no matter what. Mm-hmm. Because, not trying to sound mean, but like, let's be real here. Lyrics wise, Lizzo's never like the heaviest artist, and never like that deep. And so,
you don't gotta tell me.
With the production being like that, it can keep you interested, even if she's not being like the most like lyrical or like use of like metaphors and stuff like aren't on par all the time. She can still make very interesting music and entertaining throughout. And I think that project, like top to bottom, you can literally listen to in one sitting and not feel bored.
Yeah. Oh yeah, trust me, I did that last night.
Yeah, she's an entertainer.
Bro, I forgot Kyle did it first until you just said that though. That's like really throwing me off.
Yeah.
Way to steal the thunder from Lizzo, Gavin.
Technically, she stole it from Kyle, but and then Beastie Boys. She stole a stolen thing.
Wait, you guys keep saying that name. Who's the Beastie Boys?
Shut up. Shut
up, Gavin. Anybody who knows who Beastie Boys is, it's you.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Your number 4?
My number 4 is 10 by West Side Gun. Okay. It is titled 10 because it is the 10th entry in a franchise of his, which, due to another artist's tweets and behavior lately, he had to change the name. So the rest of the rest of his series was called Hitler Wears Hermes, and so obviously because of Mr. West,
somebody,
because Mr. West.
Yeah.
Thank you. He just changed it to 10, and like the series itself, it's not intended to be rude, but this album alone, just crazy. You know, like if you were to ignore the name and just go into it top to bottom, like it's some of his most unique work. And West Side Gun has never been known for like his lyrical prowess. He's an entertainer. He has entertaining lyrics. He has entertaining productions. He's like the, in quotes, king of like the underground coke rap scene. Yeah. But he also pulled some of the biggest features out of nowhere. He had Run the Jewels. He had Black Star, who recently just came out of retirement back in May. He just had a lot of like fun with it, you can tell. And there's even a song with like DJ Drama out of nowhere. Yeah. And that actually has like a trap production style, and he never raps on trap beats. So it was a lot of fun, and it's some of the songs are a little in depth too, that like where he gets a little bit more into things. Like he talks about like he hopes his daughter never has to grow up without his dad or without her dad until it's time to lose your dad, you know? Stuff like that. And he talks about how like being rich actually saved his life because he doesn't have to do illegal stuff anymore. But like overall, like once again, the dude curates like a madman. Like he can put a project together even if he didn't make the music, and he can do it almost perfectly. And so that's why it's my fourth pick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
All right, to number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Marvelous by Young Gravy.
Gravy.
I'm gonna be honest though, this was my most listened to album on Apple Music and everything else, which is just so whatever. This album makes me laugh and smile every time I put it on, and like I just love shuffling through it. Like
I see, which I want to make this clear. You were talking
if
about.
you diss on
No.
Okay.
This is a, see, you thought we're gonna bully you for this, but I don't even necessarily disagree with you. I think listen, I like that. Unlike a certain somebody in this station who will remain unnamed, I don't hate Young Gravy with a passion. I see his music.
Are you talking about Brendan?
I just said let's keep him unnamed.
Okay.
You put him on
Brennan,
blast like that.
Yeah, I am. Brennan hates Young Gravy. Love you, Brennan.
Listen, we do love Brendan, but he hates Young Gravy. I like his music.
Yeah.
Not my favorite thing in the world. Definitely not
this
my
album's
genre.
fire.
But like I can listen to it and like, cause it's just fun music.
Yeah.
It's nothing like production quality wise. I wouldn't say it's like no.
I think
I'm not
he's
saying
got-
it's amazing.
He has a lot of fun with his.
Oh, I agree.
You gotta go listen to it because some of his features on there too, like I don't know, "C'est La Vie." That's my favorite song on
I
that
just
album.
think like me
and it's
personally,
so fun.
I see why it's in your top 5.
Yeah.
I see why it's in I say it's in a lot of people's top 5s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not my style. But I respect it.
I think
fully.
he's got T-Pain, and T-Pain does like some like what he used to do like early 2000s
Yeah.
stuff.
I
That's
forgot
how
he
that
had
song.
T-Pain in there.
That's how you do it.
on
Yeah.
Hot Tub, and it's so like it. Everything about this album just makes me laugh.
It's a fun album.
I think for me, like, because you know how I listen to music, I don't shuffle albums a lot.
No.
I normally
You're very
put
much
on
a top to
playlists.
bottom type
Yeah.
person or playlist.
Right. So like, I think this was just a shuffled album that I just as a go-to for a 5-minute drive in the car, like if I'm
Yeah.
going down the
Because
street
it's
or
enjoyable
something.
music. Like, you don't feel like you
Yeah.
have to be like, oh, not that song.
Right. Because I don't know. Even oh my god, the Ari Lennox album was in my top 5 listened to albums.
Yeah.
And I didn't listen to that one that much. Like, so I think my album listen stuff is kind of weird on
Yeah.
Apple. But yeah, I love everything about this album. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I do.
No, like, I don't blame you. Yeah, like, he's not in my top 5, but that's
Yeah.
purely off of just when I make my top 5 off of, like,
Really-
the music impact.
Really going for a comedic year.
Yeah, apparently.
All right, Zach.
All right. What is my number 3? I forget.
What?
No, here it is. It's right here. It is "Emotional Creature" by Beach Bunny. It's
Okay.
like so if you don't know the artist, it's like you probably know their songs "Prom Queen" and "Cloud 9." I know we have Cloud 9 in the
Yeah.
system here, and they were popular on like TikTok and like
Yeah.
social media and stuff a while back. It's admittedly, it's very much like to like give like a vibe of the music.
Yeah.
Like teen girls are obsessed with
Hey,
that kind of
nothing
music,
wrong
which is
with that.
nothing wrong with that, but it's just
Yeah.
kind of like which I think it gets kind of negative connotation with it.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
it's like I feel like overall the music kind of comes off pretty relatable. I mean, it's
Okay.
just like indie pop music.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a nice little like slow down break from like some of the heavier stuff I listen to,
Yeah.
and that's
Mhm.
why I put it so high. Also, it's just quality. It's
Yeah.
just quality
Yeah.
music.
I agree.
Okay.
Because, like you said, TikTok. I looked into them because I was like, man, they are everywhere. So I looked into them. I listened to that album, and like I agree. Like, it really pulls you in because the quality of their music. Like, they mix and master very well, along with like their production styles, their vocals and whatnot.
Mhm.
And like, I agree with you. Like,
Yeah.
it's a good album.
I know nothing about this besides what I've heard on TikTok. I have heard those songs on TikTok. I'm just looking at this now. I'm like, oh, okay.
It's a nice sit down
Yeah.
and listen song. It's very
Yeah.
chill, like sit down
Yeah.
and like listen to it.
It's kind of like how you roll. Honestly, like
Yeah.
hop in a car, you can hit play, and it's just
Yeah.
like vibey.
Okay.
Or like when you're just sitting there doing homework or
I'm
something.
adding it to my list that I will listen to now.
Yeah.
It's added.
Heck yeah.
We got one. We got one, boys. Recruited. So what's your third one, Gavin?
So now here's where we get into the deeper stuff for me.
Oh man.
My third pick was Wasteland by Brent Faiyaz.
Okay. I'm not
And
surprised.
Let me tell you, that album had a chokehold on me
Yeah.
for like what, 5 months?
a long time. I'm surprised it's only 3.
Well, it's
It makes sense.
when we
but,
get to
like,
my second and
yeah.
first, you'll see like why Brent
Yeah.
somehow got beat. So this album, man, Brent Faiyaz is the king of making 90s R&B for a modern like listener.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like his style, his production and stuff. It's very 90s-esque while trying new things, obviously. And this album alone, like, he tackles things that everyone just completely digs into him for, and that's his him being toxic or whatnot, and he's always like, I'm not toxic. He's like, I just can't be tied down. So like if I make a song about me having feelings for more than one person, like it's not me trying to be braggy. It comes off that way, but it's me like it's fighting my own insecurities and et cetera, et cetera. And this album really tackles that. And there's these skits throughout that kind of give it a story with it. And it's about, which I don't think it's about Brent, but I think it's a story he created. And it's about a man who has a pregnant girlfriend back home, but he goes on tour and stuff.
Right.
And by the end of the album, you know, she calls him and she's like freaking out, panicking. And she like threatens to take her own life. And he gets in a car accident on his way to see her and stuff.
That
and
song's a lot.
And then the song right after, Angel, the outro, it's heavy, man. And like he has great features from Drake, Tyler the Creator, Alicia Keys, a couple of the dudes in his I forget the name of it, but like his little group, a couple of the dudes from there are in it too. The best song on that album being Addictions. That song alone
that song is good.
That one feels like a 90s song.
I have to say that album is in my honorable mentions.
Yeah,
it was
that one hits, dude. Like that one had me crying. I was in the car when the skit going into Angel happened, and I'm literally just like, what just happened? And like I felt like tears were welling up. I was like, I should have just listened to this at home.
Yeah.
It's definitely a vinyl album. If you listen to vinyl music, get that album on vinyl and just lay down and just listen, man. It's crazy. But enough about that.
I'd say that one's probably my number 7. Like if we had to like go all the way to 10. Like, it's still
because I forced you to listen to it. I was
it's
like,
so good.
I was like, Callie, you gotta listen to this.
I just don't like it. It's so good, but like for me, that's never gonna be something I want to just listen to because I don't.
Yeah.
That's like a feels album.
I
like,
got
I'm
a
sit
bad
down
brain.
And have feels with it.
I got a bad brain. I only listen to music that makes me feel sad or hate myself.
Well, that sounds so good.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, sure.
Not all the time.
Oh man, good.
Sometimes, mostly.
Good. All right, and on to number 2. Funk Waves Bounces Volume 2, Calvin Harris.
No!
I love this album. No, I stand by this album 100%.
No!
I'm sorry, I really do. Every song sounds different. The whole thing's a vibe. It's got so many features. I love it so much. I listened to that album so much it hurts when it came out. I don't know how that one wasn't in like my Apple stuff. I listened to that album so much. It made Calvin Harris in my top 5 listen to artists this year. And I was like, what? Oh, so good. You got...
All right, listen, for those of you who are blind or / are listening to this or something.
Blind? Would that be deaf?
No, if you can't see my mouth, right? I was grimacing. I just disagree. That's all I got to say. I'm not going to be
The purple
mean.
guy?
The purple guy.
So good. You got 21 Savage, Dua Lipa... Charlie Puth, that was a good one.
Time out.
More like Charlie Poop.
Busta
More
Rhymes.
like Charlie Poop. That's like I said.
Time
What?
out.
What? Snoop Dogg?
I'm not saying
Sway
that,
Lee?
I'm not gonna sit here and say this album's bad.
This album's phenomenal.
It's a good album, and it
better be in your
it's
honorable
just,
mentions.
No,
Stop.
And it's not in my top 5 or my honorable mentions.
So good. Number 2.
But don't listen to her when she's flexing the 21 Savage collab, because she literally spent months just pooping on that song alone.
Actually.
She literally goes, "That song is so bad." Like,
yeah, because they tried.
and she's over here trying to flex. 21 Savage is on it.
I was just like, it's the second song on the album, and I was going through and reading the features. He has a big feature, but that song was garbage. His voice didn't fit the beat.
It's not even that the song was garbage.
The
Calvin Harris
production-
is like, "You're like really famous, but
Yeah.
I don't make your music."
Yeah. No,
So-
Calvin's... Okay, Calvin Harris's production on that song is phenomenal. 21 Savage's verse on that song isn't bad. Together, they don't work.
Well, it's like trying to put Frank Ocean and Slipknot together and make a great song.
Yeah, you'd be like... Yeah. I'm sorry. No, I love this album. Obsessed.
I'm not going to bully
Such
you
good
about
song.
it. I will simply say
I don't care
it's
if
not,
I get...
It's not even in my top 20.
No,
I've finished my laughter.
I would stand by
That's
this
it.
album.
That's
I can be
it.
bullied for this one. The Young Gravy one, like, I can take
I
that.
respect.
It.
Now I'm scared of what your number 1 is.
I respect
I
and
know.
I feel like I know
how
what it is.
steadfast you are about
I
this
think.
album. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
respect your commitment to this album.
Thank you. I do stand by it.
Jordan actually guessed your number 1 wrong.
What did he guess?
He said that he thought he knew your number 1. Then you said Young Gravy. He goes, "Just kidding."
Oh, Thanks, Jordan.
Oh, you're close though.
That's
Number 3's
crazy.
not bad.
That was pretty. Okay, it was my number 1 listen to album. If that changes anything, so that's like.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Zach.
All right.
You're number 2.
Take us away.
My number 2 is Wet Leg, made by Wet Leg.
So that.
Yes. I talked about the artist like a lot on Alt Z. We want to give her the chance. The band has a very unique sound. I just like it a lot. It's like indie rock with a little mix of like Brit pop.
Yeah.
And and like the vocals, especially like if you want to see like an example of their vocals, how they sing their song Chaise Lounge. Yeah. Nobody else could make that song sound the exact same.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I mean, it's very unique, and that's why I like it so much. And I talk about this artist a lot, especially in Alt Z.
The band is great.
It is great. And my next artist is when I talk about even more for my number 1. It's not They Might Be Giants. Don't worry.
I didn't think so.
That was 2021. You guys lucked out by a few months. So
no, I love Wet Leg, and they got Harry Styles co-sign.
Yep.
Wow. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm the biggest Harry Styles fan. He's very talented.
Oh, yeah.
And he's
I agree.
one of, if not the biggest pop star right this second.
Agreed.
Well, until Ariana or someone else drops again and then, schedule shift.
Right.
Bye, Harry.
But, no, like you said, like, no one can perform their music like they do.
Mm-hmm.
Harry Styles did a cover of Wet Dream at a concert, and the video on YouTube's viral. And, like, it's not bad. But I would much rather hear Wet Leg's version. But Harry Styles did something good with it.
Wet Legs is so unique. I remember I found them like when they first started getting popular.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was only like a couple years ago. And now they're co-signing with Harry Styles. I was like, dang, like
I first heard of them
exponentially grew.
Yeah. Wow. I first heard of them when Chaise Lounge dropped as a single.
Yep.
And there's that video of them in concert performing it, and I was like, this is like weird, but like good.
Exactly.
And so like, cause their thing is like they would do something that on paper for another artist sounds terrifying.
Yep.
Because you're risking everything just for the simple fact of trying to be creative. And other artists would be like, ooh, no, I'm not even gonna try that. But they like that song, like you said, that song alone was just phenomenal given how simple the lyrics are and just how goofy they are.
Yeah,
with the instrumental
like,
being complex.
That's the strength of Wet Leg, because like I'm such a big fan of them. Yeah. I don't want to gush about the artist too much.
My favorite song by them is called "Your Mom." So
and that song's peak. Yeah. No, but like they have said, they started the band for fun.
Yeah.
They got
because it's just 2 of them, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think it's just
Wet
the 2.
Leg by putting in random emojis until they got a funny sounding name, and that's how they got Wet Leg.
Yeah.
They're doing this for fun, and it's just working out for them.
Yeah.
Imagine calling something that's called Your Mom peak.
It is
Imagine peeking at your mom.
Yeah, Your Mom is peak.
I hate this.
Yippee, yippee.
No, like, and the song itself too is really good. Like, it's just her crapping on her ex.
Like, it's like, listen, I don't say some people. I've actually seen people say that, like, with their opinion of the album, they would have put this lower on the list. But which I disagree with. It's my number 2, and I kind of stand by that just because like it's a weirder sound, and I kind of like weirder sounding stuff. Yeah. Which goes by my number 1 later. But Gavin, enough about my number 2. What's your number 2?
So
we talked about this for like 30 minutes.
Real quick before we jump into my number 2, it says something that in July, the halfway mark.
Yeah.
I did a top 5 of the year so far for albums.
It's on TikTok if you want to check it out.
And Wet Leg was literally in my top 5 then, and the album was fresh too.
Okay.
And like, I don't think it was recency bias. I think it was just that good to me. But also, like I said, the rest of the year has been chaos.
Yeah.
And so my second pick is actually Melt My Eyes, See Your Future by Denzel Curry.
Okay.
And let me tell you something. I think to this day, Taboo is Denzel Curry's best album.
Okay, yeah.
Just because I love Denzel when he's doing everything all at once. And that album is all over the place.
I would agree.
But this album is... for Denzel's discography, like you can sit here and say it sounds like other people. I know it does because he's trying something different for himself. Is the most unique Denzel Curry album. And the fact that the whole premise of it is literally like the whole Melt My Eyes, See Your Future is like take away my eyesight so I can stop seeing what other people are doing so that way I can focus on myself. And so like you got Walkin', X-Wing, and I think it's called Troubles with T-Pain. T-Pain on that song, absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it is Troubles.
He did like it's like a mixture of like what you'd think T-Pain would sound like, but then like out of nowhere he's like trying like these different like vocal styles and like ranges, along with like keeping up with Denzel and the whole rapping thing, and like the whole album's great. Definitely check it out, and like the music videos that came out with it too are like interconnected, and ironically they're Star Wars themed, and that's not even my favorite part about it. Is it's because they're interconnected. Like, it's weird. So, but overall, like, the album's phenomenal.
That is a good album.
Like, you can carry yourself through it top to bottom, and you don't feel like we were talking about with Lizzo's album. You don't feel bored. Yet with this, Denzel is getting deep. You know, just like and he does what he's really good at. Like, one of your favorite Denzel songs is Ricky.
Yeah,
and that song is significantly deeper than it sounds,
right?
Because it's for his dad.
Yes,
and so
something you can still vibe to, but like Scott,
and that's what this album is.
Denzel Curry.
This is another like put on and just do anything but stress, but worry, but like you could do it while you're cleaning. You could literally just be sitting in bed with your head against the wall, just vibing. You could do it while you're driving. It's a very just complex yet quickly like moving, solid vibe throughout the whole album. And so, yeah, it's great. That's my second pick.
That is a good one. That would definitely be in my honorable mentions. Yeah. Like, I'm just looking at them. That's definitely in my top 10 for sure. You said you thought you knew my top.
I thought I did, but also.
What do you think it is? I want your guess.
I remember you saying it was bad, so I don't think it's Charlie Puth.
Oh, that's not even in my top 10.
I didn't think so. So I don't think it's Charlie Puth. But actually no, because you said I was gonna get mad at one of your honorable mentions.
Yeah, because it's not in my top 5.
Yeah, and so I think I know what that album is.
Which
and that's
one?
Jid's album, isn't it?
No.
Is Jid's album your number 1?
No.
Okay.
No.
I was about to say, because
the Kendrick Lamar one is what I was talking about. That's in my top.
Okay.
That's in my honorable mentions.
Okay.
But
okay.
it didn't make it.
Okay.
So you don't know?
I don't.
12 Karat Toothache, Post Malone.
Oh, I didn't think of that. I forgot how much you love that album.
I forgot that came out, for being real. I totally
that one came out in like what, March?
Yeah, that's why I forgot.
No, June. That was so wrong. It came
June.
out June 3rd.
June. Yeah.
Okay.
March is when he dropped Motley Crue.
Okay.
That's when it was.
But like,
so I remember being mad at that song.
What was it? I think when doing Past the Aux episodes, this was one of my highest rated albums.
Yeah, you talked about it.
Yeah.
It was in our summer recap.
Yeah.
You talked about how much you loved it.
Yeah. I don't think that there's not a song on this entire album that I would not listen to. Now, maybe not everyone made my playlist, but I'd say out of 16 songs, what is this? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12 out of my 16 songs were in my playlist, like, which is so much for me to pull from an album. But I mean, you have like, I remember when you and I talked about this, my top 3 and your top 3 didn't match like at all, but they were both such good songs. So you got like Lemon Tree, where he's got that country twang to his voice.
Lemon Tree was my number 1, actually.
Yeah, I don't like country, and that's one of my top 3. That's so good. Euthanasia, I think that one's so good. One Right Now with The Weeknd was pretty good. I Like You with Doja Cat.
Yeah, that one's just so fun.
He had like happy, fun, vibey ones. But
I'm mad at the music video though.
Why?
They censor everything.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
And I don't want that.
Common Gavin W.
But
that statement.
That's actually because we were talking about, it might not be my most listened to, but it's like the best quality, most diversity. It's probably close to one of my favorite Post Malone albums. It's hard for me to beat beer bongs and Bentleys, but they're tied. Yeah,
which we talked about this, and I said I think this is my favorite like Post project in a while.
Yeah.
But you know, we always talk about it, and I always say the same thing because I'm that guy. My favorite Post Malone project will always be his August 23rd mixtape.
Yeah.
And to this day, I don't think he can top it unless he were to just magically find that passion again.
Funk. Yeah.
But I do agree this album's good. I did forget about it. I will admit, but it's not because it's not like at fault of Post Malone.
Yeah.
It's because quite literally, if you look anywhere, Twitter, Instagram, and you're like in the like, if you're like your algorithm or whatever.
The promotion for this album was not great.
It was, it came out of the blue. Like he did it, and then he was like,
cool.
I forgot to promote it.
Yeah.
But But like if you're on Twitter, Instagram, stuff like that, and your algorithm is like geared towards music, like I can't scroll through Twitter without seeing people just talk about music, promote their own music set, et cetera, et cetera. They always say like 2022 is the best year for music since like 2016 when we had like the Uzi drops and stuff like that. And you know, it's not bad, but it was a crazy year. And so that's probably why I forgot about Post Malone's album.
Yeah.
But overall, like it was a solid project, and I actually want to see where he could go with like more of like that Lemon Tree-esque sound.
Yeah.
Because you literally took the words out of my mouth. I was going to mention it, but you were talking about how you don't like country at all.
No.
But I think Post Malone could do some crazy
beautiful,
things,
though.
especially with new artists in like the country scene that he could work with and like have help from. Tyler Childers being a big one.
Yeah.
He makes your non-conventional country music.
It's kind of like a pop country, but I wouldn't put it in pop. Like,
yeah, it's like it's almost alternative country with alternative
pop
not
alt?
being like
a pop alt country.
Yeah, it's weird, but I think if he were to like get into touch with people like that, he could make a really solid country project. And I love it when artists change their styles and even switch genres sometimes. Like Awaken My Love by Childish Gambino, one of the most fascinating projects ever.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. Sorry, we're taking up all the time, Zach.
All good.
Let's go into your number one.
Listen, I'd like to apologize for not talking about Post Malone. I'll be real. I don't remember anything about it, so I was just like, it's been a minute.
I guess we know what Zach's got to go back to.
Listen, I'm sorry. I was going to say.
Back to the closet.
As a person, I think he's cool. I think it's cool he plays Magic the Gathering, that he's a man of my own heart.
Dude, he's such a nerd.
He's a nerd.
He's a nerd. He's a jock. He's everything.
He was friends with Scott as Minecraft.
Yeah, exactly. He's
before
so down
Scott
to
as Minecraft went off the deep end.
I love Post Malone as a person. Like, he may
Yes.
drop an album I hate, but I will always respect him as a person.
Because he doesn't cause that much drama. He's just like...
He never does.
He's just trying to chill.
The most
trying to
dramatic...
have a good time.
The most dramatic time he's had is when he was, like, acting on stage while he was performing and someone thought he was actually on drugs.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, and I was like, you could see him smiling. He's acting.
Yeah.
But what's your number one, Zach?
My number one, well, I'm allowed to swear a little bit on this, right?
If it's in the title, yes.
Horse Shit on Route 66.
Yes.
Yeah.
By The Garden. That's my favorite album of the whole year.
I remember you did an article on that.
Yes,
and
I love it.
when I read the article, you were just praising it.
I also read the article. I
Yeah.
put it on the website.
Yeah.
They like the sound. They're very punchy. Like they've always been very punchy. I've listened to them for about like 4 or 5 years.
That's pretty heavy coming
really
from like
heavy music.
the rest of your list.
Yeah.
Exactly. See, it's like it's just like I'm really picky with heavy music.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
No, I'm the same way.
Exactly. But which they have some lighter sounds in there too. Because okay, let me pull up some examples. I'm not gonna play them, obviously. Like Freight Yard, really heavy song. The titular Horse Shit on Route 66, also pretty heavy. But then you have Orange County Punk Rock Legend, which is still sort of heavy with like the lyrics, but it has like a lo-fi music background,
almost like a grungy feel.
Exactly, which I really like. Another reason why I want to like put their music so high is because it's better than everything else they put out.
Yeah.
Every time they put something out, it gets better. Like their last album, I think it's called Kiss My Super Bowl Ring.
Yeah,
it's better.
When you see growth in an artist, a new project can soar in your opinions and whatnot because of stuff like that.
Because
like
you're in the background.
Like for example, like I had said about like the Suicide Boys album, like they've never been in my top 5. I've always loved them. They've always had music that I listen to. They're always in like my top 100 playlist every year. There's a couple songs, but like it's significantly better than anything they've put out in a long time. And so I see what you mean because like for example, my number one pick is a very similar way, which it's even more impressive when it's hard to improve on.
Oh yeah.
And so yeah,
like all else I really have to say is I'll stop my talking here because I'm gonna be on Alt Z tonight and I'll be talking about this all over again.
Yeah.
So I'll give everybody
so
a
if you
break.
want more of his opinion,
you want more? You want to
tune
hear me
into
talk for
Alt Z.
30 minutes straight about
just
the
make
Garden?
sure you don't say
Hop
the
in.
title on Alt Z.
What
Oh,
is
of course, I'll be horse.
Yeah, there you go.
So Alt Z, 7 to 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Have fun. Come watch me and Isaac.
You know,
Yeah,
it's
baby.
funny. Your article made me check
Not
out
watch,
that album.
listen.
Did it?
Yeah.
And it's a good album.
It was solid.
It's not everybody's thing, but it's definitely my thing, and I love it for it.
I'm thinking this might be the year where whenever I talk about my top 5 of 2023, everyone's just going to be blown away because I'm going to finally have like a rock album in there. But
You're number one.
it's going to come as no surprise.
Yeah.
The Forever Story by JID.
Not surprised.
Yeah. And let me tell you, dude. And like I've been a JID fan since I found out who he was, and me having him at my number one is not even because I'm a huge fan. It's just this album, from top to bottom, man. He tells his story. He gets it all out there. And when he was making the album, he tweeted one day and he was like, "Hey, this next album, it's gonna be my origin story for all you nerds out there." And it really was. You know, he got introspective. He got deep. He told some things that, like, he told stories that you would never expect someone to just be so open about on a microphone. But granted, at the same time, it's a good therapist for artists. It's a good way to get out things that you don't want to talk to people about. And specifically, like songs like Crack Sandwich, he tells a whole, like, the song itself is like 5.5 minutes long, and he tells a whole story about his family going to see his brother at college, and then JID and all of his siblings getting in a massive fight outside of the bar they were at. And like, it's stuff like that that really like pulls through with it. And then, not to mention Cody Blue 31, man, that song literally
that song is very popular too. I've heard that song.
Yeah, and every time I hear it, it brings tears to my eyes. Because well, you weren't on the podcast with us when we did our JID album review. Cody Blue 31 is about one of JID's best friends growing up. His son passed away.
Oh, that's
and
sad.
I think it was from like, he got caught in the crossfire of gang violence, I think, in East Atlanta. And his name is Cody. He played football and his number was 31. But and just like the song itself isn't even intended to be sad. It's like it's the first time you really hear JID sing the way he sings, and dude, just the emotions alone just carry you. And so, like, I don't know, it's my number one. And not to mention, he brought out Yasin Bey, also known as Mos Def, who's also from Black Star. He's had quite the 2022 also. Coming out of retirement in May and then being on like 4 different projects later in the year just as a feature artist. And it was really impressive to see what happened. And like having Ari Lennox on that album and just all of that, he really knocked it out the park. And I stand by my statement saying that like he's here to stay. And I said it earlier and I mean it now, like he's in big talks, you know, and that's my top 5 of 2022. We ready to go into honorable mentions?
Yeah, I think so.
So whatever you just said triggered my computer to think you said, "Hey Siri," and I'll have to show you afterwards what it thought because it's not appropriate. But my Siri just said something dirty. So
evil Siri.
Honorable mentions.
Yeah. So what we should do is we should just name them all at once.
Yeah, I agree.
And then like the tiniest amount of detail for each one.
Yeah. So I'm not going to go into detail with too many of mine just because we've also already talked about them, and I feel like that's going to be kind of similar with some of this.
Yeah. So
for me, I'd say like my number 6, or I guess not in order, would be like Melt My Eyes, like with Denzel Curry. The Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
That's just such a good album. We talked about that for so long. Actually, Wasteland. I like that one. As you can see, like my top 10, my deeper stuff was in the bottom. I did go through and listen to it all. Then I'd say like the Forever Story with JID, that's in there.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, because like this one, the reason why I wanted to give it an honorable mention, one, I've just been a fan of them since I was like 14. Oh,
I know where you're going with this.
Yeah. 5 Seconds of Summer.
Yeah.
I thought they had a lot of deeper stuff on that album, but I thought it was so long that they had some trash songs in there too, which is why it can't be
it was repetitive too.
Yeah, they got repetitive with I thought there was a lot of like development with that album.
Oh yeah, they developed great. And so the next album will probably be the special one.
It was so good. They just needed like one more peer review, like one more edit to be like, take this out, take this.
They need to stop at 12 next time.
Yeah. And then my last one, and the only reason like it's kind of an honorable mention, just because I don't know how I feel like it's hard to say as an album, a soundtrack is a top 10.
Yeah.
Like, just because I feel like you're entering a whole different category where you're working all on the same topic, a movie, with a ton of different minds. Like, how can you say that Project is the best, I guess? But the Elvis soundtrack.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Eminem, CeeLo, Doja Cat,
And Austin Butler did great too.
So good. And then there's actual Elvis songs on that album.
Yeah.
Like that, I loved listening to that soundtrack.
I enjoy that soundtrack did what it did, which is had fun with the artists that were on it, and then also brought Elvis into like the masses for people who didn't listen to his music before.
Oh yeah, it's so good, but I have a hard time putting that in my top 10 when it's not like an artist putting a lot.
Which that makes sense completely.
All right, my turn.
Yeah, go for it.
So I'm gonna start these off with, I guess, a couple like soundtracks for movies because like that is really good. I want to give them some shout out. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once's soundtrack. Sun Lu, I think that's how you pronounce it. Killed it. If you just listen, which I mean, it's more made for like the movie, so it's weird sitting down and listening to it. But I recommend sitting down and like listening to each individual song because they're so well done.
They're so in depth.
It is so crazy, and I don't know. It's just one of those things where I like to sit down and listen to it every now and again, and I'm like, God, like they knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, because the movie alone is just out of the park, man.
Anyway, Puss in Boots soundtrack. No, I will say there's some good songs.
I can't escape this movie.
No. So I will
Such
say,
a good movie.
as everybody who knows me, I will stop talking about Puss in Boots from now on. That was an easy gag to pull it out for this. But the singles the Gorillaz put out this year.
Yeah.
It wasn't a whole album. Wanted to talk about it. They're just all good songs. It's more Gorillaz. We all love the Gorillaz. I think they have the Thundercat collab that I like.
Yeah, Cracker Island.
Yippee, that's me. And then like this is like my number 6. Like if I had to put like a number 6 on my list, this is what it would have been. So there's an artist called Ginger Root. And,
I know.
They put out an EP called Nizumono, and it's like a mashup of like jazz and like soul and like Japanese like city
vibes
kind of thing. And it's just a vibe. It's just a vibe of like it's more of an EP. It's like 6 songs. I recommend it. It's more than the lighter end of the stuff I listen to. It's definitely like if I were to say if there's anyone I listen to that's the opposite of The Garden, I would probably say Ginger Root.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's all I got. That's it. That's
going into me.
I love it. Yeah.
All right. So my honorable mentions. They're in no particular order because that's even harder to do than my top 5. I had 2000 by Joey Badass, the follow-up to his first mixtape ever, 1999. It wasn't terrible. It didn't really crack my top 5 because it was a good album, but it wasn't like the anticipation kind of overhyped it. And then with the actual music we got, it was all right. And then some of these were just because they fell into the later half of the year. And I don't want recency bias to take over with it. So, like, I had Heroes and Villains by Metro Boomin because it had some of, like, the craziest production of the year. They sampled The Boys at one point. So, like, that's already, like, a little hit for me, sampling Homelander. I had Kendrick, Mr. Morale. It's in my...
going to come for us that this wasn't in either of our top 5.
Well, in my defense, it was a great album. Don't get me wrong. But, like... It's kind of like how our friend Ben explained the whole Game Awards thing. Like, we expected God of War to be a good game, so why give it an award when a game that we didn't know was going to be so good was so good?
The wisest Ben quote of all time.
He's wise so, Ben. Like, I expected a good album from Kendrick Lamar. Yeah. So, like, when I got a good album, I wasn't that blown away.
Okay.
It was great, though.
Yeah. Interesting opinion.
But I also don't think it's Kendrick's best either, though.
Oh, I would agree with that.
That's why it didn't really crack the top 5.
That's fair.
And then also another artist that me and you both love. I had More Black Superheroes by West Side Boogie.
Ugh,
another great
so
album.
Good.
Some like LOL-SMH Part 2. Like to this day, I'm quoting it.
Does he just go by Boogie now?
No, it was before it was just Boogie.
Oh, okay.
I missed the Boogie days.
Yeah. Okay.
But like LOL-SMH Part 2, like to this day, I'm quoting that song everywhere because like he's a very good introspective rapper. Yeah. Eminem made a big choice when signing him. I had No Thank You by Little Sims. She's a great, phenomenal, like, British rapper, and I don't usually get into that much British rap because some of it is, like, just mainly, like, drill heavy, and I'm not big into that, but she's very talented. She dropped a great album last year, and then this album's great. It was literally just came out in December, though, so I couldn't really give it a top 5 spot. Yeah. And then, not to plug myself or anything, but Napalm Sunrise, another honorable mention.
I saw it coming.
Great.
I saw that
Well, probably because you can read it from here.
No,
I can't. I didn't look at your list.
Yeah, we got a little bit of time. That's so I wanted to know, being the big music heads we are, what, like, is there anything that you know is going to happen or hope to happen with music in 2023? Because, like, there's some artists that have, like, already been like, hey, I got an album coming out in 2023. Not going to tell you when, though. And so, like, what's the big thing to look out for in 2023 specifically? Whether it's an album, an artist, a certain genre you want to see explode. Because, like, we know, obviously, pop, hip-hop, and, like, alternative music will continue to rock the charts, as they will. But, like, is there anything, like, unique, fresh, or just one of your favorite artists that you're anticipating?
Well, I know Zach had already talked about the Gorillaz album.
Yeah.
Because they announced it in August, and it's not coming until, what, February?
Something like that, yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got one. All right. Wait, let me double check. I'm 99% sure. Yeah, this hasn't come out. Oh, it comes out soon. So we'll be talking about it on Past the Aux, because I will fight for it. Unless it's absolute garbage. The Sam Smith album. No, don't. I want to see if he makes more music. No.
What, he said he's unholy.
I want to see, but you and I talked about that song and how it's like actually good and it's more like back to what he did like way back.
No,
like,
I know.
More,
I was just playing with you.
Like I want to see if he sticks more to that or if he goes just kind of dry again.
If he goes and gets all sad on me again, I'm going to have no choice but to cut him out of my life.
No, right. So like, I mean, he's Sam Smith. He's going to be a little sad, but I'm hoping this whole
some
album.
Vibes.
Yes, I'm hoping this whole album has more vibes like that song because he kicked it off with such a bang, and the way he advertised and got promotion for that on TikTok and everything else, like he killed it. So I'm looking forward to this, but I'm like 50-50. It's either going to be good or it's going to be disappointing.
Yeah.
Like that's why it's like one that I'm like actively like, okay, I'm waiting for this to come out.
Yeah. No, I completely get that too because Sam Smith is just a phenomenal artist.
Yeah.
Like no one can take that from him.
I got another one.
Oh,
and
no.
I love her. I'm obsessed with her. But like I loved her. Oh my God. I think it was a 2020 album, but it was so untalked about. Like nobody liked it. I actually love Ellie Goulding.
Oh, she's great.
Yeah. But like she only hit, I feel like the only song she gets like one pretty good single or like a feature on like a Juice WRLD song or something like that, and doesn't really blow up with her own projects. But if you go listen to her 2020 album, like her projects are actually pretty good.
Well, like, obviously, Lights was the one song that blew her up.
Right.
And
yeah.
so,
back in like, what was that, 2012?
Oh, it was forever ago. Maybe
I was in
even
like
sooner
6th
than
grade. How old were we? Or
12.
Yeah, I don't know.
And so, she's a great artist. And
Lights came out in 2010.
Oh my
We're
gosh.
old.
13 years ago.
Oh my god.
Came out the same year as Avatar.
Oh my
or a year
gosh.
after.
Oh my
but
gosh.
no, but like and then she had like that song that was super big in the Divergent movie.
Yeah.
And and like I feel like she's always been kept to like that pop star role, which I know she can do better. I've heard her solo stuff.
Yeah.
It's similar to like, in my opinion, Charlie XCX is very talented, but she's being like kept as like this only like there's one banger every once in a while.
Ooh, have you ever heard Charlie XCX live? Like not actually, but
I don't care about that. I'm not that big of a fan.
Okay, but I've seen her perform at like it was something stupid, kind of like maybe a New Year's type thing or something like that was on TV, and she performed live. That girl is all
They
auto-tuned.
just wanted Ryan Seacrest to look better.
She is all auto-tuned. She is not very good. That's someone that.
Hey, man.
Ooh.
She is pretty too.
That's true.
I know. I think it's like next week. Fall Out Boy has a new song coming out.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which I mean, not really my thing, but you got any emos out there?
Yeah,
I love Fall Out Boy.
yeah, Fall Out Boy's great.
In
Fall Out Boy is like your mainstream emo.
Oh, they sound so good live too.
No, speaking of which, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if it came out yet, and if it did, I'm a bad fan. Blink-182 also has an album coming, right?
Oh, I believe so, and I think Paramore does too.
Yeah, Paramore,
they have one coming out.
Paramore will definitely have an album.
All right, MCR, it's your turn.
Pierce the Veil is coming back too, and their new single is really good too. Now, their last project they put out, they kind of went down like a Sleeping with Sirens route, where it's like real overly poppy, which I'm fine with a alternative or an emo band getting a little poppy. Like we've seen what happened with, kind of Fall Out Boy. When Centuries came out, that's kind of the start of that. Same with like Panic at the Disco. I'm fine with that because the music can still be good.
Right.
But Sleeping with Sirens got way too poppy. They went and they tried to change their band to the Goo Goo Dolls, and which Goo Goo Dolls are great. Don't recreate them. But I am really excited for this new Pierce the Veil album because the new single, which is in our top 40, is very good. And I'm really excited about that.
Yeah.
I think this might be the big year for like alternative to come back.
Hopefully.
I'm looking at this, and I agree. Like,
I think this
I'm just
is
looking at random songs coming out, or
Yeah.
albums.
Which honestly, I hope so because 2023 has a big shoe to fill.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
Any albums you're looking forward to?
I don't know any names or specifics.
Right.
But this artist I've been really into lately, I wouldn't say she's underground really anymore. She's got some traction behind her. Like the Portland Trailblazers, they use her music for like their stadium music at home games. Her name's Win. She's a rapper.
Okay.
She's put out a whole bunch of singles like in the past few months, and they're really good. She's got like some of the cockiness from like an older Nicki Minaj, but she's very, very lyrical.
Interesting.
And so like she's very interesting
You
as
don't
an
think
artist
Nicki
too.
Minaj is kind of lyrical? Not always, but I think she is.
No, I mean like compared to old Nicki Minaj.
Oh, okay.
She's
yeah,
got like
yeah.
the confidence, but then put the
Okay.
lyrics on top of that.
Okay.
She's great. She's a huge basketball fan, so she's got like a lot of like NBA bars, and some of them are very clever. Like for instance, there's this one where she says something like, "Then he want to hit the pool like Draymond when Draymond
Okay.
Green
Yeah,
punched Jordan
yeah.
Poole." And so like she's very clever, and so she put out some songs that are like a little braggadocious, and then she put out this one song like literally just like a week ago called Catalyst 2, and it's like 7 minutes long, and it's just her rapping her little booty off, and she goes nuts. Another album that I think is coming, it's speculated, nothing confirmed, which some of these are like that anyways, is J. Cole. He just completely wiped his Instagram, and the
Yeah.
last time he did that, we got the off season.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
if he is
It's like his
dropping,
thing.
this will be his second to last album before his retirement.
Okay.
He's only putting out 2 more albums.
I think it's weird when artists announce their retirement like that. Like, I'm gonna release this amount, then retire.
Yeah.
It's,
Well, sometimes it's to get out of a deal, but I think in
Okay.
J. Cole's case, like he's realizing like there's not much more I can do, and so like sometimes when an artist says they're retiring, they're not retiring. They're just gonna take a very, very long break until they get inspired again.
yeah.
And so with J. Cole, I feel like that would be the case,
Yeah.
given the way his music is.
And I definitely think, especially with music, when you do come back, it's like the return of J. Cole.
Yeah,
you know what
but
I mean?
that's
and it's
why-
another huge
and
thing.
then it
Yeah.
turns into a bigger thing. I mean, it's smart marketing wise.
It is, but that's why I don't like it.
yeah.
And sometimes your name's Logic, and you can't make it more than 4 months.
Gosh, I
So
know.
I
Which, granted, everyone's gonna hate me for this. I don't care. I like Logic. I think he's great.
No.
And when he announced he was retiring, I was mad, and then he unretired, and I was like, "Good, stay that way."
No, I like. No, I like Logic too, but his marketing stuff about I'm gonna retire and then just it.
No, I think he
irritates
genuinely
me.
was. Like they bullied him, but then
I don't
eventually,
care. It irritates
and then
me.
eventually he was like, "You know what? I'm gonna do whatever I
You
want."
don't announce retirement then release something within the
Okay,
same couple
time out.
months.
I'm gonna bully you out of radio, and then one day you're gonna realize I don't care what they think, and you're gonna go back into radio.
No, because if I love it that much, I stand my ground, just like how I stand by Funk Waves. Whatever. Yeah.
She's not famous. She doesn't understand.
This is small
You're
news-
right.
This is
I
small
don't.
news for me, but I don't know. Maybe you guys care. In about 4 hours and 13 minutes, Miley Cyrus's music video for her new song "Flowers."
That song is so
Ooh.
good.
Yeah, so I guess if you care about that, I just saw this in my
Couple
feed. and I was
minutes.
like,
Yeah. The next anticipated album that I know is happening, but he has been very bad with his rollout, is A$AP Rocky.
Oh yeah.
He announced an album entitled Don't Be Dumb,
Mm-hmm.
and then he announced a single that's coming with it, but has given no dates,
Yeah.
and it has been a couple months now, and he has not talked about anything more.
Yeah.
And so that makes me mad.
I don't blame
You know, another one that I'm looking at, I'm actually just now reading about it. Jennifer Lopez is releasing an album that's
J-Lo?
no, listen. Yeah. This Is Me Now, This Is Me, now, and it's because 20 years
Yeah, she dropped This
years
Is Me.
ago, then This Is Me, then.
Yeah.
Interesting. I was never a big fan, but
Speaking
cool.
of Ellie Goulding, she has something coming out this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. I don't know. I'm
The
just looking
album.
through-
Yeah.
I don't
So-
see anything. I don't see anything else crazy this year for me.
Speaking of over 20 year returns, which he's been doing everything. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg He's releasing a sequel to his breakout album Doggy Style.
Heck yeah.
With an album entitled Missionaries.
Thank God.
And I am so excited
this is what we need in our lives.
Because apparently him and Dr. Dre are back together for it too. So I'm really excited. Another artist who it's speculating but also feels more realistic than not is Frank Ocean, actually.
Okay.
He's headlining Coachella. And there's no way he's going to headline with only his old music.
Right.
And last time this happened, when Blonde came out, he was headlining Coachella that year.
Oh.
And so that's what it looks like.
Good intuitive skills.
Another one is Baby Keem. I forget the name of the album, but it's called like something Rage. I don't know. But the snippets look great that he's posted. But, I mean, it's Baby Keem.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to be somewhat interested. I don't know if it's happening this year or not, but he's been talking about it so much that it probably will, hopefully. And then, you know, there's going to be a lot more surprise albums, stuff like that given. But I'm really excited. It's going to be a year. I'm not going to get too anticipated on how good of a year it's going to be, but it's going to be a year. And, yeah, hopefully we get a lot more hits than misses. Because with how much great music we got last year, we also got probably just as much misses.
Yeah, that's true.
Talking to you, Mount Westmore, makes me mad.
And yeah.
But
so with that, we will be on every Thursday. So we're back for the semester. Thursdays. Our normal time will be between 1 and 3.
Yeah,
based on guests, stuff like that.
Yeah. Prep time.
Prep time, yeah. So between 1 and 3 on Thursdays.
Yeah.
Welcome back for the semester.
Yeah.
Oh, kind of crazy.
Yippee.
Thank you, Zach, for being on with us.
Yeah.
The great talk, great conversation. Be sure to tune in next week.
Absolutely.
When we have something really cool planned for you.
Oh, yeah.
And then
that we totally already have planned.
We might make Callie do backflips.
You never know.
Yeah. So I guess you got to stay tuned.
Yeah.
But I've been Gavin the Chef Cook.
I'm Callie Cole.
I'm Zach Gerchek.
And we will see you next time